everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today we're doing a box office preview for this upcoming weekend, which sees Top Gun Maverick enter into its second week of release, seeing a very strong hold, only dropping 55%, projected to make $57 million in its post-Memorial Day weekend. Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness expected to drop another 40%, and the Bob's Burgers movie expected to drop a pretty massive 60%, especially when you compare that to the amount of money that it first made at the box office. So before going into these numbers and other stories, please make sure you smash that like button, light up that fire button if you're watching over on Odyssey, and also make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with that bell notification. That way you know every time a new video or live stream goes live on the channel. So I would, of course, be remiss if I did not mention the first bit of news, which, of course, is that Johnny Depp won his defamation trial. It is interesting to see how the mainstream media is trying to remind everyone, yeah, but don't worry, Amber Heard, she won one of her counterclaims. Yeah, go ahead and actually dive into that story a little bit more, and you realize, nope, Johnny Depp won. At the end of the day, Johnny Depp won. Whether one likes it or not, if you've been following the trial or not, those are just the facts of the case. But going back into it, Top Gun Maverick expected to have a very strong second weekend number, expected to have a total domestic of $242.6 million, meaning this film is well on its way to being a $300 to $400 million domestic release, and the film likely will continue to do well in the international market, though I have been saying this for since the opening of the film, that I suspect that the domestic number will probably be higher than the international number, as this just seems to be a film that's going to play a lot better with domestic audiences, especially with United States, American audiences, just based on the nature of the film itself, the nature of Tom Cruise, and all those other factors that go into it. Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, now in its fifth or sixth week of release, is still hanging around, still expected to make another $9.7 million, which is pushing this film further to that $400 million mark domestically. This is a film that has been doing much better internationally than it has been doing domestically. However, this film is at the point where it's slowing down enough to where I do honestly believe at this point that $1 billion is no longer in the cards. So it looks like the industry projections of around $950 million, and the original projections that I had of the minimum of this film being somewhere around $980 million is a much more likely scenario, just based off of the numbers as they currently stand. This is a film that is doing a lot better internationally than it is domestically. However, it looks like the domestic number is not quite going exactly where it would need to in order to push this film over that $1 billion mark. Hey, Disney can still walk away happy knowing that this film has made them and is continuing to make them hundreds of millions of dollars in net gain profits. But obviously, they were looking to have and probably hoping to have $1 billion film on their hands, and they very well might with the upcoming films that they have in their release schedule. Or we could potentially see the law of diminishing returns on a worldwide MCU Marvel scale. We'll have to, of course, wait and see for Love and Thunder to come out, and for the projections for that to come out, which should be actually coming out next week, because Box Office Pro do their projections a month out from releases, and next week will be a month out from the Thor: Love and Thunder release. So it'll be interesting to see where those numbers actually stand at this point in time. No new major releases set to come out this weekend. The only new films are Crimes of the Future from Neon, which is only going to be out in around 900 screens, and also an IFC film called Watcher, which also will be out in around 900 screens as well. So no real competition for Top Gun Maverick this weekend, though of course next weekend it will be Top Gun Maverick versus Jurassic World Dominion. Jurassic World Dominion, I think no one's going to argue, is going to dominate the weekend, and it is already doing some pretty major numbers in a wide variety of places, including doing well in, I believe it was Korea that was mentioned. Let's go back to this headline right here, because I'm sure that everyone would just love to be reminded of the fact that, yeah, Amber Heard was indeed called a liar, and I think that is a very important thing for us to have, especially in today's day and age. But here is the article, and I don't know why. They apparently have a broken link, and I was wondering why I kept getting to this page, because I was like, wait a minute, I don't care about the Broadway season. What are you doing? I was trying to get to this. Anyway, since the link is apparently broken, Jurassic World Dominion stomps into Korea with top pandemic opening day, early overseas bow, eyes 45 plus million in 15 markets. So Jurassic World Dominion is already doing quite well in the international marketplace. But going back to Top Gun Maverick for just a second, having a very massive second weekend, especially when you remember that this past weekend was a holiday weekend. So for this film to do as well, I know River is so excited. She loved Top Gun Maverick, thought it was phenomenal and amazing. Right now, the film is sitting around $300 $88.3 million. Now, of course, these numbers have not been updated as much as they should. The numbers has been falling behind quite a bit, so I'm glad that I was actually able to go to this site. Whereas before I've been having to go to Box Office Mojo instead. But as you can see, it is doing quite well internationally. However, we do have a couple of films on the horizon, specifically Jurassic World Dominion, which is expected to make somewhere between $160 and $210 million in its domestic opening weekend. That'll be next weekend when it opens up June 10th. But its long-range domestic forecast is between 443 and 590. So based off of the current trajectory then of what we're seeing from Top Gun Maverick. Again, this is a film that is being projected to be around $388.3 million, $242.6 million. If the film continues to push forward and has a very strong hold week on and week on, it could actually end up catching up to a film like Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, which would be very impressive for a non-Marvel, non-superhero film. But also, we could potentially see, depending on where these numbers land, it even be domestically in contention with a film like Jurassic World Dominion. Now, where Dominion has the advantage over Top Gun Maverick as far as being the biggest film of the summer is that Dominion is likely to have a much more massive international opening. Jurassic World Dominion is the kind of film that's going to play a lot better with international markets than Top Gun Maverick, and a lot of it has to do with the aspects of patriotism, the aspects of American military and things like that playing very well in Top Gun Maverick. That doesn't really play well in other parts of the world, whereas Jurassic World Dominion is CGI dinosaurs. And CGI dinosaurs are always going to play a lot better. So that's why I do suspect that this film will be the biggest film of the summer. As you can see right here, it's going to do actually even more and be a lot more massive than Lightyear. And in fact, I know that it was, I believe it was Tom from Midnight Edge After Dark was doing a stream about how they suspect that Minions is actually going to probably end up beating out Lightyear at the box office. That actually would not surprise me, even though I don't care for the Minions and don't really understand why they're continuing to make these films, other than the fact that people are going to see this movie in droves or see these characters in droves and that the kids love these characters. I would not be surprised if the Minions bring out a lot more kids than Lightyear does, as this really doesn't seem to be playing to much of an audience. Again, I asked the question of why this film is being made other than it being a pure cash grab. Similar to Minions, by the way, but, you know, at least Minions is kind of, you know, not shying away from the fact that it is a cash grab by just having stupid story arcs where they're trying to make a serious story or a little bit more of a serious story with Lightyear, trying to play it off as, again, a more serious take on the character and trying to pretend like it's somehow new information or somehow new ideas from Disney, where they've been pretty stale for a long time. But those are the numbers. Those are the numbers. What do y'all thought? Do you think that Top Gun Maverick is going to have a very strong hold? Do you think it might even do better than what these projections are showing? It definitely it actually, you know, very well overperformed, I think, a lot of people's expectations in its opening weekend, setting a Memorial Day record, before you adjust for inflation, of course, but it is continuing to make a lot of money. So again, $300 million domestically is very much in the cards for this film. And as you can see from this, that would put the film, again, well over the $400 million mark when you add in what the equivalent international box office likely would be. So where do you think this film ends up being? Again, based on these early estimates, I would not be surprised if this film made somewhere around maybe, you know, $650 to $850 million. I don't see this film being a $1 billion hit, and it comes down specifically to the fact that it's playing well domestically, and I think will continue to play well domestically, but it's just not really playing as well in the international market. And once Jurassic World Dominion stomps into things, and it's already stomping into the fray with the fact that it's opening up internationally early in certain markets, I do think that Jurassic World Dominion is going to be a much, I guess, easier, more palatable film for non-American audiences. It's just my own personal perspective on that. But what are y'all's thoughts about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, smash that like button, slap that fire button over on Odyssey. Y'all are all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge special shout out to my June Keeper of the Bifrost and Chosen of Valhalla level members: Brandon, let's go Brandon, Christopher Bowman, Garrett Searles, Hymir Irie Hymason, Jeff Toon, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Laura, the Modern Major General Story, Father Luca, Mike Jackson for the win, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Orange Chat Reviews. Make sure to check out his YouTube channel. He just hit 1,000 subscribers. Rosetta Allen, check out her YouTube channel as well. Stan Andrian, Miss Martin Muses, check out her YouTube channel. And also, of course, the amazing Tina B, Empress of the Universe. Check out her YouTube channel, especially her show Soup to Nuts that she does with the amazing Stephanie B. Thank y'all very much for supporting me over on Patreon. And a huge shout out to all of my subscribers as well over on Subscribestar at these levels: Matt 317, Storm Tracker, the R, Fast Reaction, Mr. Roy, and also, of course, J-Rod, the Beer Guru, and ZK-Man. You guys are amazing. And a last shout out to my locals members. We have Miss Minnesota Hockey Fan. How about a hockey player? We have Mike Jackson for the win once again, Robert Barnes, and Brett D90. So I want to say thank you again for being my members at the Keeper of the Bifrost level and the Chosen of Valhalla levels. If you want your name specially shouted out at the end of every single video and live stream, please check out my links at the Patreon and Subscribestar. You can find those in the top link in the video description, the Willow link, as I like to call it, where you can also get access to things like giveaways, things like the podcast I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger, and other cool stuff like that. Anyway, thank you all very much for supporting me for the month of June. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless.